Hey everyone, in this lesson I'd like to talk about the scene where the skeleton is growing out of the ground and collapses. This is a fun project, and I was curious about how to create this type of simulation and also being inspired by all those horror and fantasy movies where we have such a creatures um, uh, becoming alive. So let's actually see how I managed to do this. Um, this is a fairly basic setup. I will not go into uh, all these parameters. I will uh, just briefly run uh, over the setup. Okay, so starting with the skeleton, uh, which is the base of our effect. So here I have the animation on the skeleton, which is standing up, running toward, and just falls down. And I'm using this animation, and I'd like to collapse him, and in a frame like 140, start collapsing. Okay, but um, before starting to apply some dynamics, I've done some preparations. Like for example, here I'm creating ground by using this skeleton position. Okay, so here I'm freezing my animation and using the bounding box around the, the character, and then I'm creating sphere over this character, which will uh, give me that part where I will fill it with the gray. Okay, so here I'm preparing this shape that I will eventually cut off um, the the piece of the ground, which I will use as the filler. So here's the grid, some distortion, subdivision, and here I'm cutting the piece. Okay, um, and I'm filling it. This will be my grain source, and this is the rest of the ground, which I think it's unnecessary. Here I'm extruding the sides of it, since to apply simulation, to use it in the simulation, I need some thickness, and then I'm filling the hole. Then I'm filling the sides, remeshing it, and this is my collision ground. Okay, so um, also I made this uh, the fractured pieces, the in case in case I would like to uh, use this ground setup instead of another one. Okay, so yeah, here as you see, what it actually does, it creates um, a shrink wrap around all those pieces. This way, the bullet solver uh, will understand and will use every piece as the collision geometry. Okay, so this is the second setup in case, and the third one I've created to cheat a little bit. Okay, so you'll see um, later. Okay, just to show, so it's a little fuller than the other ones. Okay, and I'm using it for layering all those grain layers later on. So going back to our character, uh, so I'd like to create some additional animation to create this illusion as if he is growing up of the ground. Okay, and then run towards and then fall back. And here I have the reverse movement on the y-axis, but since I'll start simulating somewhere at frame 140, it's not necessary. Okay, next I've assembled create name and packed my skeleton primitives. As you see, these are the primitives that will collapse eventually. Here I'm creating an active attribute which is 0, so this way by sending it to the simulation, I will not affect my animation. Okay. Um, so here I have a switcher which switches from the animation to the simulation part. Okay, so as you see, we can see our dynamics being switched from the animation. Okay, and I'm starting at frame 140, and here's the ground and gravity, nothing special, and this our dynamics. So here's the skeleton which has active deforming active object, but since we have our active attributes being 0, it doesn't affect our animation. If I turn this off, and we'll see our skeleton still have that animation. All those parameters are default values. I didn't go into those. I didn't go deep into those parameters. Just simple setups. Okay, just to see the result. And here I'm animating my the drag attribute, drag value, just to stop all those pieces faster. Okay. You could actually increase all those substeps and so on, but I decided to cheat it this way. I simply played this drag value, and this way I'm stopping my simulation. And in the subsolver, I've created an I'm creating this condition. So at frame 145, I would like dynamics to take effect, and with active being 1 and deforming being 0, which is responsible for the animation. If I just delete this attribute, the pieces will try to follow the animation. This way I'm just zeroing out the animation and activating the dynamics at frame 145. Okay, and later at frame 255 I'd like to stop everything, the animation and deformation as well. And this way, as you see, so here we have, let's say I will just turn this off, my drag, and so as you see, those pieces still moving, and at frame 255 we should stop completely, as you see. Boom, and we stop. Which is not realistic, so that's why I created this animated drag, which will slow down the animation, the simulation, and then completely stops. All right. Yeah, this is our collapse simulation. Then we're extracting our simulated geometry. Um, then I'm unpacking our switcher. So we have our scene. Yeah, this is ready and it's cached. So this is the cache, and this piece is falling down. It will fall down forever, so which I don't want. So I'm deleting it. I should probably delete it before even the simulation, but it's not very heavy geometry, so I think it's fine. So after our simulation being cached, I'm creating here a collision geometry. This is the geometry based and this is the volume based collision setup. Okay, for our grains. By adding this node, I'm just increasing the thickness of the bones. And this way, I'd like to interact with the grains more than if it like if it were a thinner. Okay. Next, I'm using this ground piece to feel actually it was grain, and since I've created three methods of the simulation, that's why I've created extra setup. So we'll see in a minute. So here I have I was kind of imagining that I have two type of layers, which is the ground layer and the grass layer. Okay, so here I have my ground layer, and this is the grass layer. Here I'm just intersecting the geometries and creating different separate types of grains. So the grass one and the ground one. Okay. Since these are the same setups, the only difference is the resolution. I will go through this setup only. All right. So, and I will just turn this off. So the setup is basic as well. So here we have the ground as usual, the skeleton, that we cached the gravity, and our grain setup. Okay. So here, starting with the frame one, we're creating generate only at frame one, and we're using all the points. And here, the grain setup, I linked the particle separation with the grain separation, and this way I could control my grain count. Okay. Constraint duration will control uh, your particles not being uh, to behave nicely. In my case, the uh, constraint iteration of 200 worked well. Um, Also, you might want to pay attention on the static threshold and scale kinetics, and the clumping, which actually what I was looking for, which in my case these values worked well. You might play with these values and get some other results, but in my case, this clumping, uh, static threshold, and kinetic values and constraint iteration gave me like the result I was looking for. Okay. And also this solver max neighbors might also be useful, but overall I had the same type of simulation, and in in different number values. Okay. So yeah, so this is the green setup, the color, and the sprite texture, um, which setups automatically. All right. And or if no, you just can just find this texture in here. And another thing, you would like to add some substeps, so so your particles wouldn't fly all around the scene. Okay. Um, yeah, that's the basic, very basic setup of the grains, and then I cache them both. So here I have, in the first method, I use these two layers to create. Oh, here's the hiding character. So I gave it like 20 frames to get into some initial position, and then I created this dynamics. So they don't those two layers don't collide with each other. So in case you would like to do some fast setups, it might be a choice for you. um, but since I wasn't satisfied with this method, I thought maybe there's another way I could just uh, get some uh, better results, in my opinion. So just talk about coloring the particles. So as you see, so here I'm applying random colors, okay, point random, and later I'm using this random color. I'm remapping this color attribute and applying some custom colors. This way I have this interesting variation of colors, not simply plain color. So here is the grass variation. Also, this color correction also helps. And yes, um, so this is the first method uh, of the effect. Okay, the second method I was kind of I used only one setup, and uh, I was thinking like if I can separate like the top part and the bottom part by um, grouping. Uh, so here I'm using the shape as usual, and I'm time shifting my simulation, and I'm using uh, this piece as a separator. Okay, so here I have bounding object points or vertices only, and then I'm splitting um, the group, top and bottom one. Okay, and then I'm applying attribute like ground 1 and ground 2. Then I'm merging them back together, and then I'm um, copying these attributes, this ground attribute, by, since we have an ID attribute, matching by ID attribute, and this way I'm copying this ground onto the points, and again I'm splitting. This time I'm splitting an animated simulated grain source. Okay, this way as you see, I'm managing to split my grains into two parts. I would probably would like to do it before the simulation, but still we can do it in the afterwards. But it would be better to do it before the simulation, because you never know which type of shape you'll have, uh, since it is a simple plane. Okay, and yeah, so this is the setup. Yeah, I think this one looks more natural, interesting, and there's the color mix that we have. All right. So, and the last one is almost the same as the second one, but in this case, we're using uh, gradients, which I think gives you most flexibility. So here I'm running the gradient by y-axis, and also you can add some noises to your um, to your gradient, which creates interesting pattern. Okay, and again here I'm splitting by color. So here's the layer 1 and layer 2, mixing them back together and copying this attribute by using by id attribute. Okay, and splitting, coloring, and merging them back. uh, I think this is a very good setup, and again, you would probably do better in the beginning before starting the simulation. Okay, but this way, if uh, before if we see this way, I can control this mix of the ground with the grass. If, for example, I go ahead, so here I have absolutely clean grass layer, and more of a grass I see, uh, while um, I can also, all right, get more of the dirt than the grass, and also I can play with the noise. Um, where it was 3. So as you see, we have a nice mix where we can also play with different values. All right, let's say this way we have more of um, a dirt mix with the grass. A really flexible one, very nice, and procedurally you can affect already simulated um, effect. Okay, so as you see, it's not very complicated, but by using some basic parameters, we can already achieve some nice results. So well, I hope you liked the lesson, and if you find it useful, please subscribe for more upcoming lessons, and I'll see you in the future lessons. So thank you very much, goodbye, and good luck.